And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. Glad to have you along here. Cooler morning this morning. Rain came through yesterday. That was accompanied with thunder and lightning, and havoc was wreaked around. We're having some sporadic internet issues. We'll see how this goes this morning. Must just be something that's going on. Last week, the biggest thing that was going on was Verizon was doing work on towers.
Yeah.
And Verizon cell phones were up and down. So we'll see.
We'll see when they put in Maiden over there behind. Behind J&L. Put a good sized tower in behind J&L. I mean, it's not real tall. I'm talking about, but it's pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. That's the wave of the future. Go ahead and get used to that.
5G.
That's where everything's
Is
going.
that 5G stuff?
Good morning, Richie. Richie said he just finished up his 1.5-mile walk.
It's incredible.
My buddy Mikey that's got double time shine had a little motorcycle accident a week or so ago, and he's got a broken foot and clavicle.
Oh,
and he should have gotten that checked out sooner, but he found out yesterday, so I think they're meeting with some surgeons to see what they can do about that.
Whoa.
Of course, clavicle, there's nothing you can do. That is what it is. You guys had scrimmage last night.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yep.
Another scrimmage on Friday at Mooresville.
Yep, against West Forsyth at 6 o'clock.
Okay, and then all four Lincoln County teams will be in a Lincoln County Jamboree. And it's kind of underwritten or sponsored by FCA.
Perfect.
So I think it's a great event. $10 gets you 4 games. Starts at 5:30, and that's 5:30 is East Lincoln, Northwest Cabarrus, 6:30 is West Lincoln, Ashbrook, 7:30 is North Lincoln Bandies, and 8:30 is Lincolnton and Bessemer City. And we'll have coverage here on WLON starting at 6 o'clock. We have regular programming that'll run until 6, and we'll pick it up at 6 and just basically just talk about kids and talk about things. But David and I'm assuming Mike or Rick will have that coverage for you. Then we'll open up the regular season with West Lincoln at North Lincoln on the 19th at 7 o'clock.
That'll be a good game.
Our lineup looks like this. It's amazing. On September the 9th, everybody has an open date.
Yeah.
No games. We won't have a game that night. Usually we would pick up somebody because the chances of everybody having an open gate the same day, same date, no, almost non-existent. Not this year. We'll open up West Lincoln, North Lincoln. Then the following week is North Lincoln, Lincolnton, East Lincoln, Lincolnton. Then Bandies at Lincolnton. Bandies at West.
Okay.
West at Maiden. West Iredell at East. Maiden at Bandies. Ford at North. Maiden at Lincolnton. And then the last game, we're going to leave that open because it's 2 intercounty matchups. It's West at Lincolnton or North at East. And we'll wait and see what the playoff situation looks like to which game we'll run on that.
We play Lincolnton at home this year.
Okay, I got these off of – I'll go back and update that. We got this off of Max Preps.
Yeah.
And I may have just transposed that.
No, I'm just saying last year we did play at Lincoln.
Okay.
So,
but we do it. That game is on the schedule, so that's kind of
– at Maiden, and y'all will – okay.
Yeah, we'll still be there. I mean, these are the games we're covering, period.
Excellent.
So just so you kind of got an idea of what that looks like, there has been no update on the Deshaun Watson thing, and he is scheduled to start at quarterback for the preseason opener on Friday against Jacksonville.
Roger Goodell is very vocal about this.
Goodell?
Goodell, however you say it.
It's Goodell, but the new Denver Bronco owners called him Goodall or something like that.
Yeah, kind of like
but if you got that kind of money, who cares?
Kind of like Bill Parcells instead of Parcells.
Yeah, it doesn't care.
But I was watching some things on the NFL Network about that, and I was streaming through, and I saw a couple things that with him, the commissioner talking about this. He is adamant that Watson is done some horrible things. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's adamant about it.
But here's my problem, and I say this every day, and I promise I'm not going to talk about it all day today. Yeah. None of that has changed.
Right.
None of that, what happened, how it happened, none of that's changed. But the NFL drug its feet too long. And I think Juju came up with a great kind of point of interest yesterday.
Right.
That it seems like the NFL is trying to make a hard line on this because he thinks they dropped the ball so bad with the Ray Rice thing.
They did.
That they can't afford to have that embarrassment again.
They did, and they got it wrong with Antonio Brown and his behavior, some things off the field. Mm-hmm. Just because something's excused in court doesn't mean that things didn't happen and the behavior was inappropriate. The problem is that everything we do, it's like you can't legislate morality or intent. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, and I'm not saying things shouldn't be done or consequences should be held, but this is such a unique and just there. Apparently, there is a lot of information that came through these investigations, and the commissioner was saying, "Look, I've seen all the evidence. We've seen the evidence. 6 games. Basically, he was saying 6 games is nowhere near what needs to happen in a situation like this." Now, how they come up with that and then do all this other stuff, pregame. Right now, you hire somebody to do a job. They did their job, passed down the ruling, and now you appeal that.
And there's no new evidence. There's nothing new. But he's basically saying, well, I don't like your interpretation.
That's right.
And that's the part that bothers me. And he's going to get what he wants this time. Now, Juju and I have got a chicken sandwich riding on.
Yeah, right.
I say he's going to get at least a year because Goodell's not going to settle for anything
minimum
less.
A year. Minimum.
And Juju said 12 games. I don't think that happens.
Well, I mean.
I don't think to. And a hefty fine.
12 and 16, both those, you guys are on point. Something else is going to come down from this. And the Browns' best bet, if San Francisco, God bless them, doesn't think Garoppolo can help them win a Super Bowl, God bless them again.
Yep.
Then the Browns need to go ahead and get Garoppolo. All right? Go ahead and stop fighting the thing. I hate to say it. Watson set out on his own, right, at Texas. Hey, man, look, you're either playing football or you're not, okay? I talked to our kids last night at the end of the game or at the end of the scrimmage about this. You can't worry about getting hurt. You can't be, this, that, and the other. You've got to play. If you're going to play football, play, or you need to quit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, and I don't know if you heard yesterday. I'm going to give you what I think needs to be done to kind of clear some of this up, but we'll see. Lindsay, good morning. She got a morning run in early this morning. Stephen, good morning. Milton, good morning.
Yep.
Morning, honey. Go Big Blue. Yeah, we all know that. I say it all the time. Richie said, I can't remember if we touched on it yesterday. We did. Sam Hartman out indefinitely at Wake Forest. That'll definitely take them out of top 25 non-football
that's right.
medical issue, whatever that is. Lindsay said, thank you for something happened, lots of it, and it was wrong. As a fan, I'm not hearing enough of that and too much hand-wringing about optics. Milton said the ruling was on 4 incidents, not 24.
Thank you, Milton. That's why the arbitrator, is that right? That's why she said this is why he gets 6 games. The problem is there were 24 things that went down or more, but 24 that are noted. And that's where the NFL is going to get a black eye, okay, because regardless, just like I said before, regardless of whether you get convicted of it or not, if you settle it, even though you're saying I'm not guilty, I'm not innocent, look, it's still not good. And that's where the issue's coming from. Now, if you go straight by what is – the way things are settled, then what she did, what the arbitrator did was the 4, just like Milton said, was on the 4. Could you imagine if it was 18 to 20 of those?
Well, now let me tell you what. Good morning, Mikey. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. Well, let me tell you what Dan Patrick said yesterday. His problem was this should not be looked at one time, because they used 4. This should be 4 individual crimes that he gets evaluated and punished for, not one. If you commit a crime,
right,
you're charged multiple times.
Right.
And so I don't know. Richie said what Goodell is doing is equivalent to your boss asking you to project management and do the implementation, and then after it's done, the boss decides to redo it and change project managers because he isn't sure he's going to like the outcome. And that's where – and this was a negotiated thing. And here's the other thing. Who laid out the groundwork for the arbitrator to make their decision. And when I say that, this is if you've ever served jury duty.
Right.
And you're on a jury. And my wife's going to get to serve jury duty for the first time. I'm so proud of her. When you're on a jury, the judge will charge the jury.
Yep.
Here's what you're looking at. Here's what you are to consider, and only this to make your decision.
That's right.
So who gave that information to Sue Robinson? Somebody did. Somebody said we're only looking at 4. Okay? Somebody did. Would that not have been the league that would have stipulated, here's your framework that you use to make your decision?
In the agreement with the players' union, right?
Right, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I agree.
So it wasn't like she just said, okay, I'm going to look at some stuff and then I'll tell you what I think. She had to have been given a framework. What she was charged as the arbitrator, what she was charged with doing based on these requirements, based on these guidelines, based on these bumpers, however you want to look at it.
Right.
And it's almost like it changed. That's where – and we don't know enough of that.
No,
okay?
You're right.
We don't know
enough
enough of that.
Because of, certain things that go on and, what our perception is versus what reality probably is.
And can I tell you something else? And I'm not a lawyer, okay? And I'm guessing here. If I'm thinking right, when something gets appealed, I don't think that the appellate court reissues punishment. The appellate court either upholds what was sentenced, okay, or they throw it out and say start over. The appellate court doesn't get to say, well, you only gave him 6, we're going to give him 12. That's not what they do. So in an appeals process, you review what happened and you decide if it was valid or not valid. You don't reinterpret it and give more.
So
now, maybe that's different with the way it works in the NFL.
Right.
But when I think of an appeals court,
you're right about that. You're right about that. And you go all the way back to the 1919 White Sox, the Black Sox stuff. Basically, a court of law came in and said these guys are not guilty. Now, Chicago, whether it was legit or not, whatever, all the things that went down, and then all of a sudden, what does the commissioner do? He steps in and says, "You guys." And Juju always
says, "That's a private business. They can do what they want to. League can too, but you don't hand it off to somebody."
Right.
Okay.
Well, again, if you, it's like this. There's always got to be someone that makes a decision. Okay. And anytime you have a commit, like the committee decided to do this, basically that's amateur. Professionalism is, you have someone in charge. They make a decision, and then you move on. There's too much of, anytime there's protection of this, let's look the other way at that. There's got – and then in today's world, it's like, well, you did this because you don't like these people or you're not being fair to them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anytime I hear it's like coaching, right? Well, this school can't do that because it's not fair to the other schools. Basically what fair is – all right, when you hear that word fair, especially in education, fair should be substituted for lack of accountability.
No, fair is what
side.
You go to in Cleveland County.
Okay. That's what that means. All right. Anytime I used to hear that, people often ask me why I got out of public education. And, I will elaborate on that more in about 4 months. But, anytime I hear the word fair, it's like, well, that's not fair to the other place. I don't even know. That's crazy. Tell the other place to pick their standards up.
Mm-hmm.
How about hiring people that will do the job instead of just hiring somebody to fill the job? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Lindsay said that's correct about the appeals because she was taught that by Alan Chapman. And she said Chapman would be proud that I knew that.
The governor.
Now, I wasn't taught by Alan Chapman because Alan Chapman's far younger than I am. But that's the way that I thought that it worked. Well, that's 12 years.
No, JR says I'm older than you.
That's 12 years. Yeah. Richie said, I was told this about fairness. The only fair fight is the fight you win.
Well, and again, I don't mean to go off on a tangent on that, but I'm just so sick of the word fair being used for lack of accountability and lack of productivity on the other end of the conversation. It normally revolves around something that's successful, and then you try to look at that and make excuses why the other one's not. Instead of looking at the problem, you immediately start making excuses for it. That's not fair.
Yep.
What are you talking about?
Yep.
Improve it.
Yep. Let me take a break. Come back. We'll have more.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. I apologize. I had some very important business come up. I had to take care of. Slight emergency. It's just been one of those days. Thanks for being here with us. All right, I'm going to ask one more question before we get off the Deshaun Watson thing. And Tar Heel fans, don't beat me up over this one, okay? Just because.
Lindsay.
Yeah. Richie.
Yeah.
Lindsay. Lindsay said, I think the fairness usually fails against those who work harder. Good at your job, here's more to do. Weak link on teams gets assigned less. I've been in the work world for almost full time, 40 years, and that's never changed. Let's see. Richie said he hadn't started running yet. Needs to, but just needs more motivation. He said, I talk about fairness all the time. My boys, they don't think it is fair when I take something from them for the consequences of their decisions.
Yeah.
Then we have to have a fairness talk. And there's a lot to that. And that's why I hate to bring up other things, because this guy got this or this guy didn't get this. But the one, I guess the poster child that just pops out at me that is very common knowledge now, and I think it was common knowledge when it was going on. One of the greatest to ever step on the field. He is in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
But his off-field antics and things he did while he was still playing when it came to illicit drug use is Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
LT. But it was it was the blind eye, because do you know what he brings to the league?
Yeah.
You know, I just don't.
The league set themselves up a long time ago for what the things that are going on today, because they're more worried about the things that, they're more worried about money being brought in, in their business, instead of long-term sustainability of the quality and the value that the league brings. And again, we're talking about just a few players here. The league is made up of some wonderful young men and women, in all capacities, that do a job, But the problem is, when you don't rule, I say with an iron fist, when you don't rule things appropriately, especially when it's a business, you're going to have chaos. And that's indicative of leadership. And it's also indicative of the employee having too much say in what goes on.
You need to throw inside of that timely and consistent. Because that's the other thing that the league has not done. As I said before, this should have been handled last year.
Yeah,
this should have never drug into this.
Well,
year.
I mean, again,
but the league plays games to see how much people are going to push back.
That's what I'm
whether
saying.
They want to do anything with it or not.
Say instead of doing the right thing for right reasons. I mean, and a perfect example is being the defensive coordinator at Maiden, when I tell a kid this is what we're going to do and they don't do it, I don't put them back out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I basically tell them to just, you know, if you can't do the things that we ask you to do, then you're not on this side of the ball. And then I turn the issue over to our head coach, and I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean I give up on kids? That's not what I'm talking about. But they have to learn structure and accountability, okay? And they've also got to learn the integrity, you know, and the things that come with that and the characteristics of it with the job that they've got to perform.
But they have to make that decision. Are they willing to give what it takes and what's expected to get the job done?
Right.
If you're not, you know, I say this, and I've done this in education, and I've said this for a long time. I'm not a huge fan of all the inclusion things that go on in education based on different educational levels.
Yes.
I've got a degree in education, okay? I've got a master's degree. I've taught on both the high school and the college level. And what I see, you're doing those type of things to help the social aspect of education, but you're killing them on the true educational side because you put them in situations that they can't handle and be successful so that they're accepted socially and not looked at differently. And I have a problem with that because you're shortchanging them on what's important, which is the knowledge portion of it.
The long-term effect of things. Great example. In the 6th grade, first week of school, I try out for chorus at Valdez Elementary. About 3 weeks later, here comes the first part of manhood. She records us as a group singing. It is obvious who is way out of tune and who can't function. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, is that really me? It's like, oh, God. You know, you don't know. You're not self-aware when you're that age. My course teacher, okay, helped me become self-aware at 11 years old. She looked at me and she said, you know, obviously things are changing and I need you to fake the words the rest of the year.
Milli Vanilli.
Okay, so it was 4 Vanilli before Millie, okay? And today, if you have a course teacher tell a kid that, they get fired.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What she did is she helped me become self-aware, okay, at a young age. I can't thank her enough every day. And, you know, at that age, you're like, holy cow, I got to fake. People told me at the Christmas cantata that I was the most passionate singer they had ever seen. Okay?
Yeah.
The point is, I became self-aware. I can't thank her enough. She did her job, okay, which was to make our chorus sound the best that they could, all right, which meant me faking the words, all right. She didn't tell me, oh,
singling you out.
You're going to be this great singer and all this because, you know, that's what you want to do. Yeah, it's just, oh, my, it's just unbelievable.
And I'll say this, when I was teaching high school, we had not gone to 4 periods. At that time,
right,
we were still on the 7 period.
Yeah, I was in there.
And I taught EC for 2 years. And that's not my background, but I went in lateral entry and loved it, okay?
Yep.
But I can tell you this, we had self-contained classes and I had inclusion classes. Yep. And I can be completely honest with you, my self-contained kids were much more successful because we had one-on-one at their level to address what their shortcomings were to make them better than I could do in an inclusion class just because I had 3 kids in that class and nobody wanted to know who those 3 kids were because that was an embarrassment to those 3 kids because they were quote-unquote labeled. I was labeled. It was on the high end, according to Juju, but I was labeled because I was in a gifted and talented class. But, you know, I didn't think anything about it. I just we get too involved with making you feel good instead of really getting accomplished what needs to be accomplished, and a lot of that comes from the parent side.
Well, we're not teaching
I don't want my
kids
kids singled out.
Yeah.
Well, if your kid needs help, they need to be singled out so they can get the help that they need.
Well, but Laney, you're right, 100%. And, you know, the problem, you know, again, and it goes on. And, you know, we have a lot of wonderful people, many people that work in our public school system. And the issue is it does nothing to teach entrepreneurship. It does everything to teach you to be a worker. Well, public school employs the masses, and not everybody can be an entrepreneur. The problem is, you know, is that kids that are more creative, that are told, no, there's only one answer to this, when a lot of times there's more than one solution to a problem. Now, math is universal. And in today's world, we're being told that 2 + 2, does not necessarily equal 4.
Mm-hmm.
It could equal 5 or 6 or whatever you want it to be. That is not true.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're looking at a problem, like if you don't do math a certain way, then you used to get penalized for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of writing all that stuff out, I may have been able to look at the math problem and be able to do it in my head, know the score, and just write the answer. I failed a test because I didn't work my problem out. Well, I already worked it out. I just knew it would do it with my hands.
You show you work so that shows you didn't cheat. That's really all about
Yeah, and the problem is that, again, that was an assumption. Well, you looked at so-and-so's paper.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't. My dad would kill me if I did anything like that. The one thing that I never did in school is I didn't cheat because I knew what was going to happen when I got home. And you sit there and you look over and you're like, no, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
You just, that's one thing that's ingrained in you. Self-accountability and, doing the right thing. Trying to do the right thing for right reasons.
If you don't have that, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, that's what I try to teach our kids on the football field.
Let me give you this story, and I'm not trying to single anything out, but Frank Gore, I remember him more for the San Francisco 49ers than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
He's facing a simple assault charge with an incident of domestic violence in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This is according to a news release by the police department. They found a 28-year-old woman speaking with hotel security. The woman did not exhibit signs of injury, and no complaint was filed at the time. However, a simple assault charge means there's either bodily injury was caused or bodily injury was threatened. Now, he was issued a police summons, and according to TMZ, Gore grabbed the woman by the hair and began violently dragging her nude person in a hallway on the 59th floor. Now, the only reason I bring this up, okay, my bet is, he's 39 years old, my bet is this is not the first time. And I say that because he may be another player that the league did not help when he had some issues because they wanted to sweep it under the rug, and maybe this could have been prevented. Those are the things that I guess that bother me. There's things that happen, and if you try to just brush them off, that never turns out well. It just never turns out well. I'm not trying to say I like Frank Gore. I'm not trying to say. I'm just saying. I would be surprised if that was the only time that it ever happened. Yeah. Now, it's interesting, and there were a lot of talk about this yesterday. There was the tampering with the Dolphins, and Juju and I talked about that, and there was some things went on, and tanking and tampering, and he asked me, from the league's perspective, if you were commissioner, would you be more concerned about that type of behavior from an owner than you would be from a Deshaun Watson for something that happened outside? When you talk about league integrity, and you've got an owner that's trying to manipulate how he gets his players, and all he gets is a slap on the wrist as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That's where the league, I think, is losing a lot of its credibility because they're not consistent, they're not just, and they protect who they want to protect. And so until that changes, I just think it's interesting. And, of course, the big story behind that is the Dolphins are – I don't know if they're playing a preseason or they're scrimmaging. Maybe they're doing a scrimmage today with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and they were laughing about it on Dan Patrick's show. Maybe Tom will wear a Miami jersey because they tried to get him in as not just a quarterback, but tried to get him in as a partial owner to the Dolphins, and they were trying to get Sean McVay and that kind of thing. And the other side of it is when there's tampering going on, the league does not punish the player or the coach that was on the receiving end of that. They punish the Dolphins for contacting them. But that's another example. And the story, like you said, that's kind of making the rounds, should the Browns pursue Jimmy G?
It's a no-brainer.
If they're going to be competitive, I don't think they have a choice.
It's a no-brainer. I mean, the whole thing was signing Watson anyway with all the baggage and everything that goes with it.
Yep.
I just, Yeah, you got a million people over here, that say, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." And then you got, some people over here that say, "Hey, look, he did a great job for us. He's a stand-up guy, all this." And all these things are mixed, and you get everything coming in from everywhere else. And the bottom line is, can Deshaun Watson effectively, run, basically that football team with everything that's going on? And you compound this with all the other problems the Browns have had. I mean, I've heard people talk about the Browns are going to be in the Super Bowl. The Browns are going to do this. You're only looking at the talent side of things. So misinformed, so ill-informed about process. Okay? When you look at style versus substance, normally – That's a recipe for disaster. Mm-hmm. What has OBJ not been allowed to do at playing out with the Rams that he was allowed to do at Cleveland? Too much chaos, right? There was. And I say he's allowed. I'm saying what is different, let me back up, what is different about being him with the Rams than being with Cleveland? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And it's that we don't hear him in a story every day complaining about this or trying to, figure out that or whatever this or whatever that. And, it's just crazy. It's all about, getting on the same page and letting, your substance, within the style that you have take over.
But, the other side of that is that's why I think it's such an unjust thing for the most dysfunctional teams to get first picks and ruin top athletes because of the situation that they put them in. It's bad enough making that transition from college to the pros.
Yeah.
It's quite a jump, and then you put them in a situation where there's no guidance, no structure, nothing to help them along. I mean, they were talking about Trevor Lawrence and how much growth he has made since Urban Meyer went away because it was so dysfunctional. That he's been able to go out there and be who they thought he was from the beginning because they put right pieces and structure and helped him to grow. And somebody had said, on the tanking thing, and I've always said this, I said, especially in the NBA, I don't like the ping pong ball thing that they do in the NBA for the draft. I would like to see –
deferral.
I would like to see the 8 teams that don't get in, I'd like to see them play a little tournament, and whoever wins that tournament gets the first pick. That prevents you from tanking because you
well, not if you're no, you're right, but not if you're 7, not if you're like 6, 7, or 8, or what I mean is not if you're in the last 2 or 3 because you realize it's maybe more important to get Zion Williamson, than it is, to try to make the NBA Finals that year. Mm-hmm. And so it can kind of work the other way. I know what you're saying, but there's just so much and I guess there's no perfect answer to anything, but you can really, very rarely will you go wrong doing the right thing for the right reasons. And if you have to sit there when you're doing something and say, man, is this really the right thing to do? Then the answer is no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So like I tell my kids, if you think we don't have rules in our house. Well, yeah, we do. We got one. Don't piss Dad off, okay? But it's like I tell the boys, look, if you're getting ready to do something and you even think I might not like it, you probably not all do that. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so had Hickory at Maiden last night. Yeah. Great people, great atmosphere. We had a ton of people in the stands.
Got started a little late because of the weather.
Yeah, man. JV and started 30 minutes late. It's a great idea to back it up that much just to give everybody a chance to get out there. It was a good night. It was nice and cool.
It was nice
weather-wise. Compared to the summer. Mm-hmm. Compared to this last month or so. We had great interaction with our crowd and our fans. I got to tell you, Hickory was fantastic. Brought 90-some kids. We have, 60, 70 some. Played on both ends, JV on one end, varsity on the other. Got a lot of great reps in last night. I saw a lot of my friends from the Hickory High community. Got to see some kids from Hickory that I've known for a long time and just interact with them last night. If we can't play each other in regular season, which I know we can't, that has got to be a must every year.
And it has been for years.
It had when they weren't in the league, right? Tom was always adamant about Coach Brown. When I say Tom, Coach Brown, he was always adamant about scrimmage in Hickory, and it's good for both communities. It's good for high school football. Joe Glass has got Hickory going not only in the right direction, but accelerating at a rapid rate. And I tell you what, interacting with him last night, you can talk with him about things, about the scrimmage situation, how you want to do. When you have people that work together for the benefit of each other, you can't – I told Coach Byrne last night, I said, that is the most perfect scrimmage scenario that you could possibly ask for.
Yep.
Adaptations were made as we needed to. We could both work on the things we needed to work on. He was aware of what we needed to work on. We were aware of the things that he wanted to work on. All right? There's a lot of mutual benefit that came from that, and every kid out there last night won because of the adults actually doing things that were in the kids' best interest. Imagine that. Now that's a recipe for success on both ends of that field last night.
And I know you're glad and happy. You're one of those that it's okay for you to be happy about another team having success.
I love kids. Mandy and I support our kids in every community, all right, within Catawba County. And then, of course, with the radio station in Lincoln County, we do things with, what you guys – we are all about promoting the whole community. Burke County, where I grew up, East Burke, all right, Valdez, we're all about the community. People say, oh, for the kids. Look, I'm about the kids, the adults, everybody, forming. The friendships I formed in West Lincoln through football – I had him in baseball with Alan Chapman 25 years ago, right? But the stuff I formed in football with those coaches, and those players and following them on Facebook and seeing what they're up to during the summer, those things, that to me, that you talking about being in a happy place, Lanny.
Oh, I know.
This, and you know me, I'm not gonna, this is what it's all like. I absolutely love this. And it just so involved in trying to now let me tell you something. On the flip side of that, if I see something that's not right or I don't think's right, I'm just as passionate. Okay, kind of a little side note there. All right, let me tell you something.
You're another one that I'll never forget. We did a scrimmage when I was at West Lincoln down at Lincoln, and it was a preseason scrimmage, and I had a problem with a Lincoln kid and something that he did in the scrimmage that I didn't like, and he quickly bucked up to me because I wasn't his coach. I didn't even have to go get Scott. Scott saw it, and he crawled this kid.
You talking about Coach Cloninger?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man.
And he crawled this kid, and he said, you don't argue with any coaches on this field. They don't have to have on a shirt like mine. He's here to help you.
Exactly.
And when you've got that kind of cooperation and work together with a common goal to make these kids better, that's what makes it work. It makes it fun.
There's a kid last night at Hickory that jumped a quick out route, made a great – the ball slipped through. He could have picked it and took it to the house.
Yeah.
The ball slipped through his hands, and Jacob, our White, ended up catching the end zone. It was a great play on Jacob's part, but – the kid at Hickory was in a great position to make that catch. And, man, it about killed him. And I told him when we were walking back real slow, just real subtly, nobody could see or hear me. I said, big guy, I said, when you guys play in a week or two and you get that opportunity, I said, that's not – he said, that's going to be a pick six. And I said, I can tell you've been – I can see the kid had been working hard. He just didn't finish the play. But I don't want him to be discouraged I don't care if he plays at Hickory or not.
Every moment's a teaching moment, good or bad.
Teachable moment. And I told him, I said, look, you grow from it, learn from it, because the next one you're going to be able to help your team score the touchdown.
That's right.
All right, and that's why we play these scrimmage games. And his head was down. He looked up and he said, "Thank you, sir." And man,
the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, just real subtly as we were walking back. I could have been talking to our kids and celebrating a scrimmage touchdown and all that. Look, I saw what it did to that kid, and I know Coach Glass and other guys did too. But they were kind of all coming back up, and going to start over downs again in distance. I just told him, that's so important.
Yep.
As a baseball coach in Legion games and things like that, like when I would go coach third base and the other team, would just come out and a kid may have struck out and he's getting around the field, I say, hey, man, keep your head up.
I never have any trouble going up to a kid that I have no idea who it is.
Me either.
And telling him they did a great job.
Yeah, or that they did the boy that hit the home run against us to put him ahead
Little
to
League.
play for the Gaston Braves. So it was Tanner Muse.
Yeah.
Remember the boy that played at Clemson?
Yep.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Right? Tanner was a sophomore. Tanner struck out like one time to end it in before. I said, keep your head up. I said, hey, you had a good at bat. You just missed the ball. It happens.
Yeah.
I said, I know the next time you're going to do great. Next time he comes up, he hits one 400 feet. Goes oppo.
I'm
going
to
come out there again. I said, hey, great job, big
I'm going
guy.
to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk baseball when we come back. You don't
still
adjust your
baseball
radio. We're going to talk baseball.
First Federal Savings Bank has been since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back.
You are.
I'm back. I got too many things going on at one time. I apologize.
You're multiversal.
I am a multitasker now.
You are.
I'm telling you.
It's fantastic.
I'm a
You know, it's funny,
multitasker.
like when I'm working at home, and like, let's say it's like, 10, 11 o'clock at night or like 5:30, whatever, right? I'll have like the TV going, this thing up, my iMac.
Everything's going.
I got my cell phone.
Absolutely.
I'm usually playing Tears for Fears. Everybody wants to rule the world, right? That's my beat song for some reason. I think I heard it when I was a kid when I was out running. Family went to the beach. I was out running one morning, and I heard that song, and I think I've just, I don't know.
I want to ask you this question.
I can't explain it.
We're going to do baseball. I'm going to ask you this question.
All right.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yep.
Is he the new baseball identity image? And let me tell you why.
Tell me what you mean by that.
Baseball years ago did away with pitchers that could hit. Okay? He can.
Yes, for specialization reasons.
Because now he's a guy that I can take off the mound, move him to short, move him somewhere, let him stay in, and he can play.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Right.
He can bat.
Right.
Now, there was another player that you know well locally that could have done that if they'd have let him, because he was hitting like 250 one year, and that was
Madison
Bumgarner.
And Rick Ankiel was too.
The Mad Bum. So my question is, do you start to see some baseball teams, and do you start to see kids developing both sides instead of the specialization moving forward?
I don't think so, but I think you'll see more kids trying to do that, and as time goes on, you'll see more. You'll see a few more organizations allowing that. And Rick Ankiel is a great example of this. This is a guy that he pitched with the Cardinals, and he was the one that all of a sudden started throwing the ball up in the stands off the mound, like he was having major issues. And in 2001, I was coaching the college summer team up in Lenore. We were the Oilers at that time. We were in the Southern Collegiate League, and we were playing in Johnson City. And Ankiel, they had sent him down to try to rehab, right? Well, that's when they made the move. They're trying to rehab him mentally, right? Because he had an injury too. But then they put him, in there to hit. And we saw him one night when we were out to eat, after a game there in Johnson City. And we saw him, and that's when he was making that transition. But the way that I don't know. Sometimes people are just unique and just different. I think that's sometimes what makes them great at what they do. But I just found him, when I saw him and interacted a little bit, I found him to be very interesting. I don't see that with Ohtani. Now, he doesn't speak English, obviously, very well, so it's real hard to interact. But there's something there. It's like Bumgarner. There's something there that makes them great. Bumgarner's got, 60,000, 70,000 people screaming, oh, great, how great he is. And he's being interviewed on the field after the World Series after he pitched the night before and then came in and closed the next game. And he looks up and says, that's pretty cool. Now, what guy at 20-whatever years old is going to sit there and rip his shirt off and flex to the crowd and tell him, let's get, and just, all this stuff. He's just like, okay. But my point is, they're so unique to be able to do both of those things. And
is there a place for it in baseball?
Yes, there is, but it's very concentrated to what you say. And I'm not going to flash back to my playing days, but just as example, there was a great determination, Laney, on what they wanted me to do when I got to East Carolina. Mm-hmm. I could hit the baseball. I could run. I did not drop balls in the outfield. There was no ball that hit the ground. While I'm patrolling center field, there wasn't. I could get a jump on the ball. The things they're doing today in the infield and the outfield about taking the hop before the ball's pitched, I was doing those things 30 years ago, not because I knew to, because it was instinctive to me. You watch Joe Jackson in the movie, Field of Dreams. He starts edging a little bit to one side because he knows where the pitch is coming or has an idea of what that guy's going to do. Those are just instinctive things that some people have. The issue was I was left-handed, and they wanted me to try to pitch too. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of flipped now where they say, no, you're doing the Chandler Jenkins. Great example. Played at West Lincoln. Goes to Gardner-Webb. They want him to pitch only. He's like, no, I want to play, in the outfield. I can hit. Bobby Reynolds, Bobby Dale coached him in the Legion. I worked with Chandler when he was 14 years old down in Denver at a batting facility when I used to do lessons down there. All right. Chandler goes to Gardner-Webb. They're like, hey, we want you to just pitch. Nope, I want it. So he transferred to CVCC. Junior College Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Goes to East Carolina. Tremendous career, All-American status, potential, all these things. What happens if he just takes it and says, I'm going to pitch, or I'm just going to give it up and pitch? Look at what would have been lost. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to navigate that landscape, and to your point, who's willing to accept that?
And I can't remember if it's you or if it's Juju that says this, and I think it's you, general managers, coaches, whatever, don't get fired if somebody doesn't make it if you followed the rules and what the cookie cutter is supposed to be.
Yeah, I say that.
And so that's a good example of it. They take a flyer on somebody like that and it doesn't work out, then that costs them. But I just wonder, and Ohtani has been such a breath of fresh air for baseball. I just hate to see him wasted where he's at. That's the only.
He's not. I don't think he's going to be wasted, and that's a great point you brought up. He's going to remain a two-way guy as long as he's productive with the bat, because we know he is with his arm. He's the player in Major League Baseball. Okay, he's the guy, and he has kind of circumvented the rules. Look at Babe Ruth. Look what they did with him. That goes all the way back 100 years ago.
Yeah, but baseball was real back then.
Well, yeah, but
like I heard a thing yesterday about Nolan Ryan and what he accomplished, and it'll never happen again because pitchers don't play like he played.
Right, they don't go 9 innings and they don't do the things. Well, but you got to remember, as time goes on and more studies are done, things are adapted to the numbers. All right, and oftentimes before they are adapted, to the internal drive of someone. So what they try to do is put everybody in a box and say, okay, everybody, you need to throw 90. What did Greg Maddux say? Greg Maddux say, I'm never going to throw harder than 89, even though I can throw 92, 93. I'm never going to throw 89, and I'm going to throw this sinker, and you're going to know it's coming, and you're going to ground it out, and you're going to miss it.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And the reason was he knew what he was capable of and refused to let people put him in a box. We hear a lot of people say you should never throw a curveball before your age so-and-so. Okay, first of all, thank you for your opinion. I really appreciate you repeating what you've heard, and that it's been beat into you, and you know so much about it because somebody else said it.
Yeah.
Okay, I never had an arm issue, and I had the best 12-6 curveball at 10 years old that you could imagine, okay? I didn't have to have any surgery. Why? Because my dad said, it doesn't matter what pitch you throw, okay? Throwing overhand is unnatural. So what you have to do is you have to have technique and form on every pitch that is proper. It matters not what you throw if those things are right. All right, now that it's just like throwing fastballs, curveballs, changeups, spin, all these things, just all of them. And that's the thing that gets me about all these rules that I say old people, that older people, because they become more noble as they get older, and we want to do this for the kids.
Arbitrary.
What you're doing is you're restricting their growth and their experience.
No.
99% of those kids are not going to go play. 99.9 are not going to play professional baseball. All right? You need to let them throw and let them throw as much as they possibly can until they start sacrificing form and technique, and then get them out.
Yeah.
And if they don't do it, that's on their mom and dad, and it's on their coach.
But the whole
You've got to stop with these –
The whole thing.
That's like getting a letter from Roy Cooper saying I'm allowed to drive and go to work.
Yeah, it's
my work gave me that, said you're an essential worker. I said, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't drive. You can't go anywhere because I said, okay, first of all, I will die on my I will die on my feet before I live on my knees.
Yeah.
Okay. If I get my card right around, I'm not infecting anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just it's insane.
Well,
it's insane.
To the baseball point,
I'm gonna get off of that.
So much of that is like everything else is lawsuit scared, just like the NFL is with what their opinions are. All right, we got to get out of here. Have a great day, everybody. We'll do it again tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see.